Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have received the official kit for Elrond, and oh my goodness, this guy is going to absolutely break the game once we get that Rivendell team all assembled. Now, he is counted as a healer, so you'll be able to use him in 3 of your challenges. The all-important treasure trove if you haven't maxed that one out yet, the dark relics, and also the lost artifacts. So he should be able to get you through all of those challenges, not a problem. For his abilities, I'm only going to give you the maximum stats for these, and I'll also let you know how that's going to fit in with the rest of the team. So without further ado, let's get stuck into it. And for his basic attack, attacks the enemy for 170% damage and grants 1 stack of regeneration for 2 turns to the most wounded squad member. Now, the reason that this is so important, just for a basic attack, when you've got someone like Elladan in the team that's going to be soaking up so much damage, he's probably going to be the most wounded at various points throughout the match. So to get that regeneration for 2 turns is just going to help keep him alive just that little bit longer and make him very, very hard to take down. And that's on top of all the other healing and regeneration that the elves are going to have, that they're going to be able to help keep Elladan alive. Breaking through that defense is going to be the toughest part of facing this team. For his first special ability with a stamina cost of 4, heal all squad members for 15% of this character's max health. Grant protection for 1 turn and 1 stack of regeneration for 1 turn to the most wounded squad member. And revive a random elf with 65% of their max health. If there are no elf allies to revive, gain 2 stamina for this ability. So if that triggers when there are no elves to revive, so say you use that ability just for the protection and regeneration, you'll get 2 stamina back, and then he can use that again in 2 turns. So yet another ability where he can help keep Elladan alive, and then if you do manage to take him down, he's just going to bring him back again with 65% of their max health. And even if you do manage to get around Elladan and start taking out some of the other elves, he's just going to provide enough protection to Elrond so that he's just going to be able to bring that elf back again. And then you've got 4 turns to try and disable that team before Elrond is able to revive another elf and just keep it going over and over again. This team could be near unbeatable if you don't have the right characters to face them. So for his second special ability, and thank goodness that this one has a stamina cost of 7, because he will attack all enemies for 280% damage and reduce their turn meter by 6% per boon on himself, up to a maximum of 5 boons. So that could be 30% turn meter reduction. He also inflicts slow for 2 turns, slowing you down even further. So besides the pretty decent damage that this attack is going to have, being able to reduce that turn meter, it's going to take someone like Gaza completely out of the mix. He's just not going to get a turn in to be able to do his massive AoE damage, which is probably going to be one of those things that you will need to try and counter the elves and take out multiple elves at one time. But for someone like Gaza, being a big creature, he will also have that minus 10% to his speed that is already built into his kit. So once you take that 30% turn meter off him, you also inflict that slow for 2 turns. It's really just going to take him out of the battle very, very quickly. Now, if you think that Elrond is already annoying just with those attacks, we haven't got to his passive just yet. And that, on turn, is going to heal the most wounded squad member for 7% of this character's max health and grant them 1 stack of counter attack. And on top of that, the first time this character drops below 40% health, gain 1 stack of Unbreakable for each Rivendell ally still alive. So he can get up to 4 stacks of Unbreakable on him. Now that's only the first time that he drops below that 40%, so it won't keep happening every time his health gets lower. But what that technically means is you've got to try and kill this guy 5 times really quickly just to make sure that he's out of the team completely. So it's probably not even the best idea to try and target him first, depending on how much damage your team can do. If you do have a lot of AoE damage, maybe targeting him is a good thing. Even though he will have that Unbreakable, at least you might be able to try and kill him a couple of times before he gets another turn and stop some of that healing from keeping him in the match. What this does mean is that outside of that Rivendell team, he's not going to be as strong because you will be able to kill him a lot faster. Now, I'm sure that there will be some combinations that people come up with where he will work quite well. It's just as far as keeping him alive is concerned, that Rivendell team is probably your best bet. Now, the one thing that we haven't touched on just yet is his leadership ability. Now, this is going to be a major pain. On Rivendell's squad member turn, if they have no Banes, gain Fortitude for 1 turn, which will actually increase your resistance by 50%, making it harder to put Banes on the elves, and also extend the duration of 2 of their boons by 1 turn. Given how many boons that these elves are putting on themselves and each other, things like Nimble, Provoke, Healing, Regeneration, and so many other things, that could really make this team so much harder just because of this leadership ability. On top of that, elf squad members gain 4% damage per boon on them, up to a maximum of 5 boons for 20% additional damage. And my goodness, if they didn't already have enough damage potential, you're just adding another 20% there. Also, light squad members gain 10% max health. Now, given that all of this healing is based on a character's max health, you're adding an extra 10% health to those characters to increase that ability to heal. Now, if you weren't already convinced to put this Rivendell team together, hearing this kit, I'm sure that it is in your mind now to really want to get these elves unlocked and into your teams, because they will dominate the arena and they'll also allow you to get through your story chapters, your guild chapters, and some of those challenge missions, as I mentioned before. The thing that I am not sure about is what team is possibly going to be able to take them down. Even the elves versus the elves will come down to who's got the highest level and most gear on these characters. But I want to know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you think that out of all the characters that we currently have in the game, that you can put together a team that's going to disrupt these elves and possibly take them down? Or do you think we're going to have to wait for more characters to come into the game that are deliberately built to be able to beat these elves? Personally, I can't wait to get my hands on this team and test them out, see how they're going to work against other teams, especially in the arena, which I've let slip a little bit in the last couple of weeks. But that's it for this one, guys. Don't forget, like and sub. You know the deal. We got plenty more Heroes of Middle-earth coming your way. Don't miss out, and we'll catch you in the next one.